Absolutely. Tracy, any thoughts?
I'm sitting here because obviously I am the new member.
Mhm.
I've only been here a little while. Um, I'm still trying to figure things out. When Debbie talks about new member orientation, I concur because I got exactly zero.
Yeah.
Everything I've figured out at this point has just been from me showing up to the meetings and trying to go online and look and learn. Um, one of the things that I see as kind of the inside but outside position is that there's a significant age gap here. We've got some seasoned people that have been here a long time. There's some younger people that are kicking in, and then there's I wonder, and again I have no idea, but I see a lot of the older people that were coming when we were having in-person meetings that were appeared, just they were coming because they'd always come. They'd always been here. It's just what you do. You come to Rotary, you eat your meal, you listen to your speaker, and you move on. So I mean, I don't know that I'm the best person to talk because I don't know what it's supposed to look like, because shortly after I started coming is when COVID hit. And so I've never been here to see it work the way it was pre-COVID. So, I mean, I joined for a number of reasons, just to be involved. I've been involved in lots of other organizations over the years in the community. So, I definitely would like more orientation. I'm not opposed to being on a committee. I know that I'm on a committee, but never have been contacted. I don't want to overstep my bounds on who's in charge of what. But I think we need to have a little more direction as far as what, at least for me, if you ask me what does the Rotary Club in Bedford want to accomplish? What's our goals? What's our visions? I'm not sure I have an answer for that as the newest member of the club.
Mhm. And I think, Tracy, I appreciate that. Some really good points that you mentioned there. And you also kind of mentioned something else and I think it's something we see throughout Rotary, overall. You mentioned, you got some new members and then you got a lot more seasoned members. But Rotary sometimes basically has kind of a gap, in terms of what I would call years of service. And so typically what we find, if people make it past, the first or second or third year, then they've kind of drinking the Rotary Kool-Aid, so to speak. And by that time they are engaged, and they typically be a long-term member. But a lot of times when new members come on and they don't get engaged, that's, you're going to lose them within that, first couple of years. So some really great points there, that you brought up on that. Anybody else have, any thoughts as it relates to engagement?
Well, I want to say that even though Susan and I are the chair, we had a meeting with Ray early on, Ray, our president, and it is his thoughts that he did not want us to add committee members to this committee. He felt that the entire club, all the members, should be engaged in recruiting. And so he wanted us to, eventually assign tasks and help with different strategies. And of course, that being said, this has been a terrible year to do all
do
that,
that.
to get anything accomplished. But yeah, that's just so everyone who's on this meeting knows you're all to be engaged. Our president is dictating that, right, Ray?
Well, I tried. and this COVID has affected me too. And I'm probably at the moment, other than Bill Kern, the oldest member in the club. And it's, I want to do something, but, I'm at that age. Well, I'm 86 right now, so the time has flown awful quick. And I'd like to see everybody involved, engaged. I'd like to go out to the camp and have one of those fun nights with the paintball.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be fun? You know,
Well,
I'm still
hopefully.
young at heart. I still want to do young things and do things that are involving with others. But then, of course, they say, "Oh, it's COVID. You've got to be careful. Don't forget your age, Ray." Well, fortunately, I have not been attacked.
There we go. There
I
we go.
thank the good Lord for that. Anyway, my
That's-
wife's kept me engaged
Well, you
too.
know,
So
Ray, that
go
brings up a really good point, Ray. I never thought about it before, but the paintball would be that would be a very acceptable because you would have social distancing for
Yes.
sure on a paintball thing.
yeah,
So maybe
And you'll
we
be
should
masked and you'll be
consider a
masked up.
paintball
So
night.
yeah, you'll be good
That would
too.
be
well, we've been invited. Anyway, that's just one item. Okay.
Some great points there. Again, anybody else? Any other thoughts? Yes.
So I would agree with Debbie completely regarding, well, just basically everything she said. And I, for one, have been one of those over the top cautious COVID type thing where I have not really wanted to engage face to face with anybody. And in my position at the bank, I've been mostly working from home. As you know, my husband and I are taking care of a new grandson a lot. So actually, we're here right now in Cincinnati doing that. But with that being said, you know, pre-COVID, I kind of feel like our club was really on a roll. And I thought we were doing really, really well. We were starting to do a lot of social type engagement to engage people. And I don't recall us doing that much in the past. We had picked up quite a few members. We were doing a lot of good things. But right now, it feels like we're just like in this standalone mode. And to me, it's a little scary that we've had so many members that have not shown up for any of our meetings. And as we're able to get our vaccines, you know, I do hope that that we'll be able to get back and to Tracy's point, I think that we've always had not a real great new member orientation program. I don't even know what that is. So, and I don't know how long I've been a member, 8, maybe 9, 10 years, but I don't recall us ever really having anything like that. And I know that Tracy, I kind of learned, I probably learned faster because we were in person, but I just kind of learned about Bedford Rotary and Rotary International and the foundation and all that. I feel like I kind of did that a little on my own, but it came, you know, it just came with time. And so hang in there. I love Rotary, and it's a great thing. And we're together, all of us, we're gonna get through this and be a better club from it.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, it's fine. I mean, I am one of those that I'll jump right in and figure it out. It's not an issue to me at all.
Yeah.
In fact, I think we should have one, and I'm willing to help work on that, you know, as we go along. So it's not been an issue with me whatsoever.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and I think that we're all looking forward to that because I think I've known you well enough to know that that's exactly what you will do. And so that's super exciting. And I just hope we can have a fish fry this year. That's all.
Yeah, hopefully the
Well, and I
trends
think
are
I'd like to
positive.
say give Susan credit. Susan stepped up and became the president too, and that's a learning experience. It sounds, you know, on any organization, but I think by becoming a president, it's a couple of years. It's just like the district governor. You have a couple of years to prepare, and you have the training sessions, and you know, even people that have been in Rotary a long time learn so much when they've agree to be the president of the club because they have the training sessions. and get really engaged with district level. Well, you were assistant governor, Lance, so you
Yeah.
understand all that.
Yeah, and I'm
So-
understanding the training right now too. So kind of started down that journey.
Yeah, so that's
Speaking of President, to follow me has been quite a chore.
Yeah.
And I've talked to at least 8 people, and I very rarely, but true, I've been turned down.
Mhm.
So let's keep asking around and seeing if we have someone that's willing to take care of that very important position.
Yeah.
We have, a couple members that haven't been with us a full year yet, but as soon as they are a full year, I'm going to get them in that role. So folks, we're looking for that now.
Great
And I've gotten, I
experience.
don't know how many emails about that.
Yeah. Then I know, Susan, you were going to get ready to say something.
Yeah, I was just going to say that, yeah, when I was asked to be president, I didn't want to be president at all. I was president of the chamber at the time, or was going to be the same year, and I finally accepted it, and I'm not sorry I did. It was a wonderful experience, and as John said, it helped me learn a lot about the club and about me, and it wasn't really that hard. So, but I'm not raising my hand to do it next year. Just
You have a
saying.
lot, and you have a lot of support. Let's just say, really, anybody else have some comments really quickly on engagement strategy? Alexandria, do you have any thoughts on this?
So I've been thinking as everybody's been talking. I guess I don't have any thoughts on any particular engagement strategy, but I guess I could just share more of like what I guess my personal issue is. So I've been in the Rotary Club for 4 years, and I think I am by far the youngest member. But I'm supported by my employer to participate. So for me, like the professional drive needs to be there. And there's been several times that my employer has made me step back and, assess whether or not the Rotary Club is helping us advance as advance myself as a professional. And year after year, I'm noticing less and less benefits for myself as a professional being a member. So that's something that's worrisome to me. Like eventually the cost of being a member is going to outweigh the benefits for not only me as a professional, but what my company, I don't know if I'm making any sense, but so that's kind of what I'm worried about, because I do love Rotary as well. And I want to maintain my membership, but I do have to also consider, is this, because most people my age are going to be working professionals and will have to come on company time to meetings. So for me, I'm like, if my company is considering, is it, year after year, is this still worth it for us to be paying for this? And I have to justify it, how I'm assuming other people will have to justify being a member as well. And our involvement in the community isn't as high as what it used to be. Like when I first started, we were doing several community events. So I noticed like year after year, as our club ages, we do less and less in the community. I don't know if that's just my perception or, and I'm just not maybe understanding all of what we're doing. But that's just kind of what I'm thinking of. Like for me to be more engaged, I need more community involvement.
Okay. So you're kind of looking at, kind of a service projects, kind of maybe a number 12 there, that basically social event service projects, kind of a networking, community involvement type thing. That would probably fall under number 12 based on kind of what you're stating. The other thing, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, because I kind of, they bring up, well, we paid this much in your Rotary dues. What did you do this year in Rotary? Because I work for a nonprofit, so anything in the community is, good professional work for me. And it's kind of like, well, 2020 kind of was a hard one to justify. So
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think for anybody. Okay,
Yeah.
so yeah, we have great point there on, number 12, and then maybe a little bit of spackling of number 11 too, when you talk about leadership development, kind of professional development, there's a little bit of opportunities there. It sounds like need to be promoted as well, but
Well, I also think a little bit of number 3, a flexible club meeting schedule.
mhm,
I personally love the fact that we've incorporated Zoom because there's some meetings in the past that I've had to miss, and I hate missing Rotary meetings.
mhm,
But I've had to miss because, I'm all the way out in Mitchell, so I would have to drive to Bedford, drive back to Mitchell. Usually if I go to a meeting, I just stay in Bedford. But if I have more work to do back in Mitchell, sometimes I just have to skip the meeting because I won't make it back in time. But if I'm on the
mhm.
computer, I can be involved in the meeting, click end, and then start my next work and not have to
Yeah.
worry about the travel. So I love incorporating Zoom and possibly keeping it as we do in-person meetings as well.
Yeah, that's a great point as well. I mean, a lot of clubs right now, I think, as we come out of this, is how are we going to merge what we've, done and, as we kind of move forward. And a lot of clubs are looking at hybrids, that basically that once they do start getting back in person, that there still would be kind of a virtual component. That way people could come in, join from wherever. I know in my club, actually, we had somebody that was a member of our club, moved to North Carolina and now has come back and is involved in the club again because of hybrid. They could get on virtually and attend the meetings at any time. So again, some great thoughts there. Real quickly, Julia.
Yes, I'll kind of add to what Alex said there, only on the totally opposite end of the spectrum. She talks about how she likes the Zoom. And when you get to the age that I am and my husband and others as well in the club, because there are several, I forget what you called us, seasoned or something of that nature. But we spend time in the South in the winter. And prior to this, I missed, anywhere from a month to 2 or 3 months. And this last year, we ended up kind of stuck. It was okay, but because of COVID, we were there for about 5 months, which is not normal all in a row. But it was so wonderful to be able to continue with my Rotary Club meetings and getting to see people's faces and hear what's going on and still be somewhat involved as I could have been if I had been here in Indiana. So that is a real bonus. I feel like if nothing else, and I'm sure there are other things, but as far as the COVID, I think that has really, really been an asset for probably all clubs, but I'm speaking for Rotary, to be able to have that access when you're away, or if you're ill and you're home and you can't get out, if you're recuperating from something, or if the weather gets bad and you can't, you're afraid to travel, drive, or whatever. It's just a real positive thing. And I know where Alex is coming from, because I obviously was still working when I joined Rotary, and it is a tough balancing act, to see if it's worth, the business feels like it's worth paying those dues. And then if you don't feel like you're, contributing anything to the community or, whatever, why. It is a quandary, but yeah, I think, like I said, if nothing else, the COVID has created a real bonus here for clubs, organizations.
Yeah, and unfortunately, my 8-year-old son really didn't like it because they don't have snow days anymore.
Right.
No, you can't go to school. Yeah, just get online. Guess what? It's e-learning today. But anyway, some really,
I'd like to
some
say,
great. Go ahead, John.
yeah,
Yeah,
I just say as the self-appointed club geek, I really do think we should probably continue on. When we went back to some in-person meetings recently, we picked up 2 or 3 members that came to the in-person meeting, besides the people who still wanted to do Zoom. So I do think that that's going to be probably a component of future Rotary meetings. And there's still bugs to work out. Jim Sesson did a really great job setting up. And so there are some bugs to work out, but I thought it worked really well. And I think it gives us an opportunity to do exactly what Julia and Alex has said. And I just think it's something that we will probably have to consider in the future for all sorts of reasons. As I said in my email, I listened to the Rotary meeting a couple of times driving across Bloomington when Judy had treatments on Thursdays at noon. So, there's all kinds of advantages to that. So,
yeah, another plug there, what I would call hybrid meeting on those classifications. And real quickly, looking at the interest of time, kind of looking to kind of get